So, you want the truth. You want facts. Well, that's what you're going to get from the Let's Grow with Yo-Yo podcast every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, let's get with the discussion. And here's your fact-finding host with the most attitude, Yomi.
Good morning. Oh, Lord, good evening, all. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I pray that you had a blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving. I am your girl, Yo-Yo, and I appreciate each and every one of you on here looking and being with me today. I don't have a lot of what do you call it? A lot of church announcements tonight, because I wanted to get right into having our discussion. And no, stop sharing. Don't do that yet. I wanted to talk to you all tonight about some things. I'm sorry, I don't know, it was a glitch in my thing. I have been out of the loop. I have been in the hospital. I have been under the weather. I'm still recuperating, but I wanted to get up and get cute and do a show. So excuse me if you see me coughing, taking a break, because I'm still trying to adjust to being able to breathe and talk and all that stuff at the same time. I wanted to come on here tonight, because I have been looking on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the social, what's the other thing? Twitter, Threads, all them. And I have been perplexed, bothered by things that people are saying, the outrage, the cry that's going on for the people in Gaza and all that stuff. But we are going to get into, I'm sorry, we will get into all that. I said this before, and I say it again and again. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. I vote on policies. I vote to see if the person that is running has my core values or some of my core values, because I know no one person is going to have everything that I want, need, or desire, right? I know this for facts. That's it, right? So with that being said, in 2016, I did not vote for Trump. One, because I knew the person, the man that he was, because living in New York, reading up on him, his ways, his businesses, all that stuff, I didn't like it. I didn't like him because he was sneaky, he was undermining, and he didn't care about Black and brown people, him nor his father, right? But I can't take the sins of the father and put it on the child. So I had to look at him personally, and I did not like him. Hillary was the lesser, as they say, the lesser of two evils. So did I vote for her? I did, right? Was it a better choice? Compared to Trump, it was. And we saw that with the things he was saying about grabbing women by their vaginas. They like it. Talking about prisoners of wars, that he likes people that don't get caught. Just all the things that he was saying. I just, in my soul, couldn't go for that. Well, we know that when Trump took office, it was on the back of former President Obama, right? And when he took office, unemployment was down to 4.5%. Gas price was like at $2.30. I know in Texas, it was like $2.29 to $2.28 at that time when he took office. Jobs were being created. Trump actually came into the economy came into office with the economy growing and booming, right? He really didn't have much to do, right? He didn't really have a policy. He wanted to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which he called Obamacare, which we all know is called the Affordable Care Act, right? Yes, there's some things in there that needs to be fixed, pricing, da 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 da, but it gave the United States of America people a whole to have some kind of healthcare, right? So he didn't have a policy for that. He said he did. He said he gave it to somebody. They showed it was blank. So it was nothing written up. It was nothing to combat it. So it failed, right? What he did pass was a big, huge tax credit for the rich. I don't understand why the rich don't pay taxes. I don't understand if you make over $400,000, you pay less taxes than I do. You paying less taxes than somebody making $29,000 a year. Unbelievable. But he gave them a big cut. All right. And then in 2020, under his administration, COVID happened. COVID was not just in America, it was worldwide. Everywhere was shut down. China shut down. Of course, they said that's where the source came from. New Zealand, Ireland, Italy, Spain, Greece, all over shut down within a couple of weeks of the infection spreading. But we have old Trump, who thought it was a hoax, who said it would go past, it would, go away. No one would, we wouldn't get sick, da da da. People started dying. Mainly Black and brown people, because we were the group that had to go to work. We had to be out there. We had to fend for our families. We had to do these things, right? So we were dying at an enormous rate. He still would not shut this country down. More people were dying. People in his administration was getting COVID. He was telling you to drink bleach. He was telling you to go to use UV lights. All these things instead of wearing a mask and staying home. So finally, after almost 900,000 people died, he decided to shut down the country. And by that time, we had to be shut down longer than the rest of the world because it was outrageously huge here in the United States. This is your boy, Trump. I'm talking to you, right? Just laying the facts out. And then we had an election in 2020. Joe Biden. Oh, let me back up. Because one female rapper, what's her name? Dirty Red, whatever her name is, said that she liked Trump because he gave us money. Let me set this up for y'all, because evidently people don't understand the three branches of government. The executive branch was the president and the governors. The legislative branch was the Senate and Congress. Now, the executive branches, they enforce the laws, right? They sign bills into laws. They make sure the Congress and Senate do what they're supposed to do. The House of Representatives and the Senate makes up Congress. Those are your legislative branches. They write the laws. They write the bills. They vote on the bills. They send it to the House. That's what they do. They pass the bill in the House. Then they send it to the Senate. The Senate then either yay or nays a bill. So Trump did not give you no stimulus check. Congress and the Senate, or the House of Representatives and the Senate, which makes up Congress, actually gave you your money. They voted on it and he just signed it, right? So let's get that clear. Then we had an election in 2020 and everybody voted, the Black votes voted for President Joe Biden. Then we had he was not going to leave regardless. He started lying about elections in Georgia. He calling the Attorney General, they're the Secretary of State, they're telling him to come up with X amount of votes, saying they miscounted. All these different things. This is the president that we elected in the United States, lost an election. Numerous people in the DOJs, numerous state officials said there was no voter fraud. Yes, there were some people that voted twice, but it was very few that would not have impacted the election that much at all. So then he had it done again in December. He took it back to court. The courts threw it out again. Now, come January, he incites. I'm not saying allegedly because he did it. An insurrection where the Capitol was overturned by people, his base, because they didn't like the fact that he lost an election. They were going to kill or hurt Nancy Pelosi. They were going to kill or hurt Vice President Pence, former Vice President Pence at the time, because he was going to certify that election. Do you see how deranged and crazy that is? Do you see that? Do you understand that? All right. Y'all still Trump. Good. He had to leave. He lost, right? He didn't do a handoff like normal presidents do. He didn't want, he do a tantrum, basically. Joe Biden takes office in January 21st, I think it was, the inauguration. Joe Biden takes office. We were still shut down, semi-shut down. Schools weren't fully back into session. They didn't go back into session to like that the later part of 21. Supply and demand. Supplies were out in the water, stuck at port, couldn't come in because we were still under that COVID shutdown, per se. Unemployment went up to like 9% from 5.4% to 8 or 9%. Oil and gas stagnated. However, and during this time, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris got more legislative things done. Right? We're gonna go over some. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to look at my notes because there's a lot of things that's going on. He did the infrastructure bill was passed that Trump said he was going to do but never did. And we needed an infrastructure bill here in the United States. I remember, I think it was in 21, the end of 21. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. Where a bridge collapsed, an overpass collapsed. Hey, one in Texas collapsed in 21, right? So we needed an infrastructure bill. We needed the Inflation Reduction Act because of everything that happened with 2019, 2020, when COVID hit and into 21. But the House held it up for a whole year. Congress, House and Senate held it up for a whole year because they wanted the economy to crash and for us to blame President Biden. Again, you have your executive branch, which is the president, your governors, who enforce laws. They don't make any law. They just enforce laws. You have the House of Representatives and the Senate that, let me tell you what they do. They write the bills up. They make the laws. They pass the laws. They declare wars. They regulate interstate and foreign commerce and controls the spending. That is what your legislative branch did. The House of Representatives and Congress. That's what they control, the laws, right? So they held up the Inflation Reduction Act for a whole year to have the economy tank, to hurt us so we can blame President Biden. Granted, he is the executive, he is over everything. But if it doesn't come to his table to sign into law, there's really nothing he can do. He could tell him to hurry up, he can go and fuss with him and try to sit down with him and talk to him. But it was Republican held, right? And then this is where it gets me is everybody is on President Biden and VP Kamala Harris. They also did pass the CHIP Act. The CHIP Act is bringing the manufacture of chips technology that we put in our cars, our computers, our phones from China back to the United States. What does that do? Creates more jobs. Creates more jobs. You don't believe me? You can go to congress.gov and find this out. You can go to the White House .gov and it's factcheck.gov or factchecks.org. You can find all this out. Okay? You don't have to believe me. You can do your research yourself. But they did the Infrastructure Reduction Bill, the Infrastructure Bill, the Inflation Reduction Act bill, the CHIP Act bill, passed in the law. Those are some of the things that they did for the country to help us, to help our economy grow, right? Y'all say he's old. Yes, he's old. But guess what? Trump is only 3 years younger than him. Trump is only 3 years younger than him. Biden Harris, I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm going to have to read this for y'all. Signed an executive order advancing racial equality and support for underserved communities, which prohibits certain unjust federal law enforcement practices, update federal prosecutor guidelines, reenact the Access to Justice Initiative, invested in community violence interventions, and executive action to combat violent white supremacy, enhance voting access. So these are some of the things that Biden-Harris has done for the Black community. The George Floyd Protection Bill, which could have passed, but Senator Tim Scott halted it, and it didn't pass. So Biden went to the DOJ and got the to do away with chokeholds and no knock warrant. So that passed to help us because that mainly affects Black, brown, and other people of color. Biden also signed pardons for everyone on a federal offense for simple marijuana charges. A pardon for everyone, right? Who went to jail for marijuana? That's probably serving life sentences or 15 years. He pardoned them. The Emmett Till anti-lynching bill was signed into law in 2023, March of 2023, after numerous attempts to not even pass it, but it was passed into law, right? Now let's talk about money. You have the American, what is it called? The American Rescue Plan that will supply a stimulus check of $1,400. That passed through Congress. Biden will issue it out, sign it into law. We will get it. They also signed a child tax credit for working families for helping receive loved ones who have low child poverty. Expanded $3,000 in credit for the children ages 6 through 17 and $3,600 for children under 6. These are the tax child credits. That happened because of Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote. Black African American unemployment by itself decreased from 9% to 5.4%. He also gave $5.8 billion to HBCU. That is a fact. $5.8 billion to HBCUs, compared to $250 million that Trump gave to HBCUs. These are just some facts that I wanted you all to know about this administration compared to the last administration. Now let's talk about this Israel and Gaza thing. War. Genocide. Let me preface this by saying that I have all sympathy, empathy. I do not like children being killed for no reason. I do not like innocent people being bombed out their homes. I don't like it. Did I do my part? Absolutely. Absolutely. I send money over. I try to get updates as much as I can on what else I can do without physically going over there. So I'm trying to do my part. I don't like it. There's things going on in the Congo right now where there's a whole genocide of Black people going on over there. And I'm not rich people, I'm not. But I'm going to do what I can to help where I can, right? Without physically going over there because I have some medical issues. I just can't. But if I was healthy enough, I would. Just let me say that I would go and try my best to help. Anyway, so I am here. Let's talk about it. Now, because of a war that's going on in another country, I have seen numerous creators, young people, some in their 30s, talking about they are not voting for Biden because they can't support a president that supports a genocide. Let me tell you something about Israel and the world, basically. Israel is an ally to the United States. Israel, what they're doing is wrong. But can you please tell me, how can they distinguish between Palestinians and Hamas? Or even their own people and Hamas? I could say I'm Israeli or I'm Palestinian and be Hamas. And I believe the toll of Hamas killings is at over $10,000 and Palestinians is like 6,000 or something like that. I could be wrong about the numbers, but I believe that's what it was. So again, I'm not saying that is right because it is absolutely wrong. But while you all are saying I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to do this, do you know we have our own genocide going on in this country? While you're not voting because of something that's going on over there? While you're not doing your part here? So let me give you a little example, all right? Louisiana had an election in October. Jeff Landry is now the governor, a top conservative man in Louisiana. Yep, he is in Louisiana. And with him being in Louisiana, guess what he's doing? Let me show you. Let me show you what his thing is doing. Do y'all see this? Louisiana governor-elects, who will be sworn in January, wants to withhold funds from New Orleans' decaying water infrastructure until women who seek abortions are prosecuted. Until women who seek abortions are prosecuted. Y'all good with that? Because y'all didn't get out and vote. The Democratic governor that was in there was blocking it. He was keeping it from being put into law. He was blocking it. He was vetoing. He was not allowing it because they have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. Now, because y'all did not want to get out and vote, you have a governor who New Orleans is predominantly Black, predominantly African American. He is going to keep money from your sewage systems to help your infrastructure because y'all are not being prosecuted for seeking abortions. Again, the Democratic governor that was there was blocking it. He didn't want to prosecute y'all. That was your God-given right? But y'all didn't want to get out and vote. So here we go with the damage in Louisiana. Y'all saw it. The proof was in the pudding. Now, I also heard a transgender woman who I follow on social media who said that she knows that if she does not vote for Biden, that her life is at jeopardy because of the Republican Party, but she still will not vote for Joe Biden. So to me, that is, I'm not calling her dumb, but that's dumb. So you would rather, because I'm letting you know, the Republican, the MAGA people, they want transgender women, transgender men, children, all them to be stopped in the street and beat down, put in prison, or lose their life. There was I can't find it, but about a month or so ago in North Carolina, a new police force was put in place. They can stop you when they want. Oh, South Carolina. They can stop you when they want to. If they think you're a transgender man or woman, they can stop you. They can put you in jail without questions asked. If they think. This is the country that you want because you so worried about Israel that you would jeopardize your own life for that? Then let's go on. This Voting Rights Act that was just gutted by the Supreme Court. That we cannot, if we feel like we're just being discriminated against, we can't bring it to court. We can't bring it up to a case or get a lawyer to file a discrimination thing because of race, gender, or whatever. We can't do that. It has to be your attorney general or the DOJ. Now, if you have a Republican governor who appointed a Republican attorney general and they don't want that stuff being taken up, guess what? You won't get to vote in that election. Your vote ain't gonna matter. And then if T-Rump gets in office, Yellow Man gets in office, he already stated he's gonna cut them people, the what do you call them? It starts with a W, I can't remember, out of offices that are not going with his agenda. Meaning he was a total abortion ban across the United States, a total one. That means them Democratic states that are still legalizing abortion, gone after 6 weeks. You cannot have it. And listen, ladies, this goes to the white people, white women. Y'all are voting against your own demise. I'm just throwing it out there. All right. Then there's going to be a total ban, a book ban on certain books because they want to keep rewriting the narrative of Black and brown people, indigenous people, and other people of color in this country. They're going to keep rewriting it because Gen Zs and them Gen Alphas are our next generation of senators and governors. And if they can get their mindset to where they want it to be, to show that slavery was not a thing, Black people are crazy, and indigenous people are criminals, and Mexicans are rapists and stuff, or Hispanics are rapists, if they can push that narrative, then that next generation will come up and think the same thing. So why do you think they're pushing to ban so many books? It doesn't make sense. To keep it out of the curriculum in schools. African American studies is in college. We really don't know nothing about all these inventions and people that did things for the March on Washington. I saw the movie Reston, very good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's on Netflix. Sorry, it's on Netflix. Y'all need to watch it. It's very good. He was the man who organized the March on Washington. History in the making. Trump also said that he was going to eliminate news outlets that don't fit his agenda. He's going to rewrite the Constitution. Now, let me tell you something. Jefferson stated that he wanted the Constitution re-amended every 20 years, but that could have happened, but it hasn't, because it's supposed to grow with time, and no one has tried to amend it in years. So he wants to rewrite the Constitution, and he wants to be able to stay in power for as long as he can. He wants to be a Putin. He wants to dictate. He wants segregation back, right? If y'all ever read this thing of Project 25, I want y'all to go read their course of action. The Moms for Liberty, the conservative Republicans, listen. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord. I believe God, Jesus died on the cross for me. I believe all that. I believe He is love. And I believe that giving you the gospel or telling you something that is good, that's going to help you, and if you choose not to believe it, I did it out of love. I'm not going to force anything on you, because Jesus never forced anything on anybody, because He gave you your own will. And if you choose not to do it, there's nothing I could do, sweetie, but love you anyway and tell you when you're right and when you're wrong. I'm not going to, because Jesus never beat nobody over the head with it. Why should I? He gave you an option. Follow me. And if you chose not to follow Him, okay, He's going to leave you with love. And that's me. But they want to push their narrative. House Speaker, what's his name? What's his name? Johnson. Johnson said that he wants the lay of the land to start pushing the narrative of Jesus Christ. That if you do not support or believe, that you will get in trouble. You go to jail. That's not right. In the Constitution, it states you can't force somebody in another religion. Everybody has the right to practice their own religion. If you're a Muslim, you have a right to be a Muslim. If you're a Buddhist, you have a right to be a Buddhist. If you're atheist, God knows you have that right too. So forcing someone to believe something that you believe in is totally wrong. Again, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I will give you the word all day. I'm going to seek Him first. But He said in His word, you can, all the things that you could do, but the greatest gift you could give anybody is love. The greatest thing you can ever do is love. I can love you, but I don't have to be with you or talk to you. I can love you. I can, hey, how you doing? You okay? Good. And keep it moving. I don't have to force myself on you. Right? And then, not only that, I saw where a creator was talking about how she was getting bullied at school because of the clothes she was wearing. Now, everybody knows in school you got, your fingertips at the knees. She had a skirt that was fingertip, but it's kind of tight fitting, form fitting. And the boys felt like they had the right to touch her body. That's not your right. And then a grown man says on her post, 16 is a ripe age, is a fertile age. So that's a good age to start. What is wrong with y'all? What is going on? Do I believe in abortion? No. But I'm not you. I had an abortion, a couple of them. That was my choice. Do I regret them? No. But I wouldn't do it now. Right? Because at the time, what was I going to do with a baby? I'm not a woman's gynecologist. I'm not her OBGYN. I can't tell you that she has a baby is born without a brain, like the lady in Louisiana. She couldn't carry that baby to term. She couldn't deliver the baby. And it was another young lady whose child had, I forgot the name of the disease, but it's where the bones are brutal and they were breaking so the baby was suffering in her body. So her and her doctor decided, and her husband decided to terminate the pregnancy. because she wouldn't have lived but a few seconds outside the body. Or the mother would have become septic because she could have died in utero. That is a decision that should be made between a husband and wife, or the father and mother and their doctor. Not us. Not us. We are not that type of people. But if you keep going, I'm not saying that Biden is the best. I'm not, by no means, I'm not saying it. But look at your alternative. You want to be hunted down in the street because you're transgender and be put in jail or beaten up because you're transgender, because you're worried about Israel? Again, I'm not saying what is going on over there is correct and right, and they need to stop it. And right now there is a ceasefire. It was a ceasefire on October 6th, and Hamas did what they did on October 7th. It was a ceasefire right now, a humanitarian ceasefire. Hamas has reneged for 2 days. And Israel said that if they don't start sending their hostages back or letting the Palestinians go, they're going to start bombing them again. And they have every right to. Because Hamas is not holding up their end of the bargain. So again, I'm not saying what is going on over there is correct, and I'm not empathetic or sympathetic to what's going on. I understand the things that is going on in the Congo. I understand that. And my heartstrings are being pulled, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help. To help. Right? Besides sending money to organizations so they could get food or supplies or whatever else they need over there. Over there. But at the same time, I got to worry about the country that I live in, the country that my daughters are growing up in, my nieces, my nephews. I don't want, let's say my nephew said he's gay. Of course, I'm going to tell him he's wrong, but I digress. I'm still going to love him. But he has every right to walk down the street. How flamboyant he wants to walk down the street without being beaten, without being spit on, without being arrested because of what he chooses to do in his bedroom. And they always say they are grooming our children. When there's some, I ain't gonna lie, there's some. But heck, what about them Catholic priests? There was like a 25,000 page on priests that were proven to be molesting children. The guy who did the Freedom movie, arrested for trafficking, but he did a movie about trafficking. How does that work? Oh, because he was doing it so he could talk about it. Oh, okay. So everything like that is perfectly fine with you all. As long as Biden stops the war over in Israel and not worry about and push his agenda on trying to keep us our autonomy, trying to keep our voting rights uptight, trying to make sure he does what he's supposed to do for the community, trying to get the House and the Senate to push laws and bills that he can sign, right? We are still on the verge of another government shutdown. We only have until December 31st or January 2nd or something like that. And they got to revisit this thing again because they didn't come up with a permanent solution. I have friends and family that work for the government. This is their livelihood too. But y'all don't see that part, right? Because y'all too busy worrying about overseas. Again, I don't want y'all to think that I do not care about what's going on over there, because I do. I do. And I hate to see the videos of the children laid out or crying and being separated from their families. I hate it because wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But I also got to think about here in the United States. here of what's going on in our country. I'm gonna tell you about one more thing. With Gary Chambers out of Louisiana, he had put a post about Shreveport election for the sheriff's race. And by one vote, one vote, the Democratic nominee, which is a black man, became the sheriff. The other one wanted to do the stop and frisk. He frisked you anywhere, anytime. He didn't care who you are. But by one vote, the Democratic person won. Your vote matters, people. Your vote matters. Not voting is a vote for the other man, Trump. And let's face it, it's not going to be Nikki Haley. It's not going to be Chris Chrisley. It's not going to be Ramaswamy, what I think that's his name. It's not. It's going to be Trump and Joe Biden. Those are going to be the two. I'm sorry, they are. They are going to be the Democratic nominee and the Republican nominee. Y'all have to think about that. And then get whomever you want in office. It's not going to take away my rights, my daughter's rights for being black and a woman. My nephew's right for being black and a man in the United States. My cousin's rights, who is black, a man, and gay in the United States. I'd be doggone if y'all are going to keep messing up something that happened. It's going to happen here in the United States, where we live. We got to eat, sleep, work, raise our children here, not in Israel, not in Gaza, here. Here. Do what y'all need to do in 2024. There's 435 seats coming open. Every seat in the House of Representatives is coming open in 2024. I declare this and I want you to go and find out who your congressperson and your House of Representative person is that is seat is coming open. Look, research them. Look to see their core values, what they believe in. Pray about it, and then vote for that person. There's 135 seats coming up in the Senate. I know 2 of them is Texas, baby, and I'm on it. And I'm going to post the opponent people between, what's his name? Cruz. I forgot his name, just completely out of my head. So, see who is your core values. Who is going to give you something. Who's going to help you or your constituents or your family members or your community who has all that in mind. You're not going to get everything that you want. You're not. So stop thinking that I want this, and this, and I need to get, it ain't going to happen. But if you get something, if you get 6 things out of 10 or 5 things out of 10, that's better than nothing out of 10. So 435 seats are coming open in the Congress, in the House of Representatives, federal level, 135 seats in the Senate. Find out who your people are. Look at their things. Ask questions. Go to their town halls. Call. Write letters. And then vote. Get informed, people. Please get informed on your livelihood. Because at the end of the day, again, the Congress, the Senate, the House, they pass the laws. They hold the purse. Stop worrying about just the president. Okay? That is your girl, yo. This is your girl, yo. I thank you all for listening to me tonight. I appreciate it. I love you. I'm about to go take some medicine, take this makeup off, and go lay my butt down. Have a blessed and wonderful night, and we'll see you again. Remember, our country can't burn to save another one. we got to take care of ourselves too. It's not being selfish. I'm being honest. Do what you can to help over there, but also take care of the place that you live in. Because your vote does matter. And your voice. But don't tear it up to where you won't be able to vote again or voice your opinion ever again in life. Because you chose to be angry because what's going on in Gaza is not what you expect. I love you. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Good night.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Let's Grow with Yo-Yo Podcast. And thank you for wanting the truth and facts, because that makes for a more interesting discussion. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode every Thursday at